How to train your brain to think in English. Welcome to my channel. Have you ever said something in your head, then tried to say it in English, but nothing came out? You knew the word, but your brain froze. Why does that happen? Why does your brain forget English when you need it the most? Today, I will show you how to train your brain to think in English, even if you can't say a word now. Comment below. Do you also freeze when you try to speak in English? Chapter 1. My brain couldn't think in English. I remember the first time I tried to speak English. I opened my mouth, but no words came out. My brain went silent. I knew what I wanted to say, but my mind was thinking in my own language. I had no English words in my head, just blank space, just fear. I felt so small. I had studied English in school. I could write a few words. I could read some simple sentences. But when someone talked to me in real life, I froze. I could not understand. I could not answer. My heart beat fast. My face felt hot. I looked down and stayed quiet. Why did this happen? I had spent hours learning English. I memorized grammar rules. I filled notebooks with vocabulary. I passed exams. But in the real world, all that learning disappeared. My brain could not give me the words. It was like I knew English only on paper, but not in real life. I felt broken. I thought something was wrong with me. Why could others speak, but I could not? I watched videos. The people spoke fast and clear. I wanted to be like them. But my brain still thought in my native language. Every time I heard English, I had to translate in my head. That took time. That made me slow. By the time I found the words, the conversation had moved on. I started avoiding people. I didn't want them to speak English with me. I didn't want to feel that shame again. But deep inside, I had a dream. I wanted to speak freely. I wanted to think in English. Not translate, not pause, just speak, like native speakers do. One night, I was watching a movie in English. I didn't understand much, but one line stayed in my mind. A character said, "If you want something, go get it." That hit me. I wanted English, but I was just waiting. I wasn't doing the right things. I wasn't training my brain. I was only memorizing words. So I asked myself a question. Can I teach my brain to think in English? That question changed everything. I stopped blaming myself. I started studying how the brain works. I learned something important. The brain learns what we give it every day. If I feed it only grammar, it learns rules. But if I feed it real English thoughts, it learns to think. I looked back at my day. Every moment, my brain was talking, but always in my language. I'm hungry. I will go out now. I am tired. All these thoughts were in my native tongue. I realized something powerful. I had so many chances to think in English, but I never used them. I was waiting for the perfect time. I thought I needed a teacher, a class, a guide. But what I really needed was already in me, my thoughts. I made a promise that day. I would start thinking in English, even if it was hard, even if it was slow. I would train my brain, one small thought at a time. So I started. That very night, I looked around my room and named things in English. This is a chair. That is a door. I see a window. My brain resisted. It wanted to go back to my own language, but I pushed through. The next morning, I woke up and said in English, "Good morning." I looked in the mirror and said, "I am tired today." Then I brushed my teeth and said, "I am brushing my teeth." These were simple words, but they were powerful. I was teaching my brain a new habit. Not just words, but thoughts, English thoughts. At first, it felt strange. I forgot words. I made mistakes. But I didn't stop. I was not speaking to impress others. I was speaking to my own brain. And slowly, my brain began to listen. English words came faster. Sentences became easier. I didn't have to translate every time. I just thought and spoke. One day I was outside. A friend asked me, "Where is the library?" And without thinking, I answered in English. "It's that way, on the left." My brain didn't freeze. My words came out naturally. That moment felt like magic, but it wasn't magic. It was training. It was hours of silent practice, inside my head, every single day. I smiled, not because I spoke English, but because my brain was finally speaking with me, in English. That moment gave me hope. If I can think in English once, I can do it again, and again, and again. I want you to know this. If your brain cannot think in English now, don't worry. You are not broken. You are not late. Your brain is just waiting for new food, new input, English input. Feed it every day, not with stress, but with kindness, with simple sentences, with real thoughts. You don't need perfect grammar to think in English. You don't need long words. You need short thoughts, honest thoughts, daily thoughts. Train your brain like a baby learning to talk. Slow, simple, daily. I was like you. I couldn't think in English, but now I can. And if I can do it, you can too. Let's keep going. In the next chapter, I will show you how I started rewiring my brain, one word at a time. Don't miss it. Chapter 2. Rewiring my brain, one word at a time. After that first small success, I felt hope. I had answered a question in English. My brain did not freeze, but deep down, I knew it was only the beginning. I still needed to train my brain more. I had a long way to go. I had to build new paths in my mind. My brain was still thinking in my native language most of the time. So I decided to start small, one word at a time. I looked around my room. I saw things I used every day. A bed, a chair, a table, a fan. I picked one thing. I said the word in English, table. Then I touched it. I repeated, "This is a table." I said it again and again. I was teaching my brain. I was giving it new signals, simple signals. I didn't wait for a lesson. I didn't open a book. I just started talking to the world around me, in English. At first, I only knew a few words, but that was okay. I used what I knew. I didn't care if the sentences were short. I said, "I sit on chair." Not perfect, but it made sense. I could feel my brain listening. I could feel it learning. I said it again. "I sit on the chair." My mouth moved slowly, but my brain started to remember. Chair, sit, table. These words became mine. Not just words I read in school, but words I used in real life. I made a rule for myself. Every time I saw something, I had to name it in English. If I didn't know the word, I looked it up. I used my phone to search. Then I said it out loud. Ceiling. Curtain. Mirror. I didn't just say the word once. I said it 10 times. I pointed to the object and spoke. My brain needed repetition, and I gave it that. I repeated like a child learning to speak. I also used sticky notes. I wrote the English word on paper and stuck it on things in my house. My door said door. My mirror said mirror. My notebook said notebook. I saw these words every day, and slowly they entered my brain, without force, without stress, just by seeing and repeating. Sometimes I talk to myself, not crazy talk, just small things. I wake up now. I drink water. I go outside. I said these words quietly when I was alone. I made English part of my life. I made it my friend. My brain still wanted to use my native language, but I pushed back gently. Every time it gave me a word in my own language, I paused. I asked myself, what is this word in English? Then I said it out loud. One day I was cooking. I thought, this is oil. I cut onion. I fry the egg. These were not perfect sentences, but they were real. They were useful. And they were mine. I didn't care about grammar. I cared about meaning. I cared about practice. And my brain started to accept it. It started to build new habits. I noticed something strange. After a few weeks, some words came to my mind in English first. I saw an apple. I didn't think the word in my own language. I thought, apple. Just like that. No translation. Just one clean word. I smiled. That was progress. That was real growth. My brain was changing. I didn't need a teacher for this. I didn't need a classroom. I was training myself. I was rewiring my own mind. Every day, I gave it English. Not big lessons. Not long lectures. Just small daily words. Easy sentences. Real life English. At night, before sleeping, I would lie in bed and close my eyes. I looked back at my day. I asked myself, what words did I learn today? I repeated them. I whispered them in the dark. Window. Curtain. Bowl. Toothbrush. I smiled. Because I was building something powerful. I was building English in my brain. Some days were hard. Some days I forgot. Some days I felt lazy. But I didn't stop. I reminded myself of my dream. I wanted to think in English. Not for anyone else, just for me. I wanted to watch movies and understand. I wanted to speak without fear. I wanted to feel free in English. And I knew one thing for sure. If I could learn one word today, I could learn another tomorrow. That's how it works. One word becomes 2. 2 words become 10. 10 become 100. And one day, they become a sentence. And that sentence becomes your voice. So I kept going. One word at a time, one thought at a time. I stopped waiting. I started doing. I made English part of my everyday life. Not perfect, not advanced, just real. If you are starting this journey, do what I did. Don't wait to become fluent. Start with one word. Say it out loud, Say it every day. Use it when you see it. Your brain will learn. Your brain will change. In the next chapter, I will tell you how I started using English in my head, not out loud, but quietly. How I trained the voice inside my brain to speak English. That was the next big step, and it changed everything. Chapter 3. The voice inside my head spoke English. After learning one word at a time, something special started to happen. One day I was walking to the kitchen. I didn't speak. I didn't move my lips. But a thought came to my mind. It was not in my native language. It was in English. Just one sentence. I am going to drink water. I stopped. I smiled. This was different. This was new. My brain was starting to speak in English. Inside my head. That voice. That small voice. It had always spoken in my own language. It said, I am hungry. I feel tired. Let's watch TV. All in my native tongue. I never noticed it before. But now I paid attention. That voice was me. That voice was my thinking. And I realized, if I can change that voice, I can change my life. So I made a plan. I would train that voice to speak English. I didn't need to talk out loud. I didn't need a partner. I only needed my mind. My quiet thoughts. I told myself, from now on, I will try to think in English. Even simple things, even mistakes, I would try. The first few days were hard. My mind was confused. I saw a dog, and my brain gave me the word in my language. I stopped. I asked, what's the English word? Then I said it inside my head. Dog. I looked again. It's a dog, a small dog. It's running. I made full thoughts, all in silence, but all in English. Slowly, this became a habit. I didn't wait for English class. I didn't wait for someone to speak to me. I spoke to myself. I thought about the weather. It is hot today. I looked outside. The sky is blue. The sun is bright. These were not perfect sentences, but they were mine. They were English, and they were inside my brain. Even when I made mistakes, I didn't stop. I didn't care if the sentence was wrong. I cared that it was in English. Sometimes I corrected myself. He go to school. Wait. He goes to school. Better. I was learning grammar, not by studying, but by doing, by using, by thinking. I talked to myself about everything, about my plans. Today I will study English, about my feelings. I am nervous. I feel happy. I looked in the mirror and thought, you can do it. These words were small, but they had power. They changed the way I saw myself. They made me stronger. In the bus, I looked around and described things in my mind. That man is wearing a red shirt. The child is eating ice cream. I see a tree. My brain started using English more and more. It was like building a new path, a new road. At first, it was hard to walk, but the more I used it, the smoother it became. Sometimes I played a game. I looked at someone and made a story. She is going to the market. She will buy vegetables. She likes cooking. I didn't know if the story was true, but that didn't matter. It was practice. It was English, and it made my mind active. When I watched a video in English, I paused it. I tried to guess what the person would say next. I repeated their sentences in my head. I copied their style. I copied their speed. My mind started to understand natural English, not slow textbook English, but real, living English. One day, I had a strange dream. In the dream, I was speaking to someone, and I was speaking in English. When I woke up, I laughed. I thought, now even my dreams are learning English. That was a sign, a beautiful sign. My brain was changing. English was no longer a subject. It was a voice. It was part of me. I did not do this in one day. I did not do it in 1 week. I did it every day, bit by bit, thought by thought, mistake by mistake. But every time I chose English, my brain followed. Every sentence made my mind stronger. Every thought made English more natural. This is how it started for me. Not with books, not with long lessons, but with a quiet voice inside my head. A voice that said, try again. A voice that said, you can do this. And that voice, it was in English. If you want to train your brain, start with that voice. Start thinking simple thoughts. Say them in your head, again and again. Don't wait for someone to ask. Ask yourself, where am I going? What am I doing? How do I feel? Answer in English. Your brain will listen. Your brain will learn. In the next chapter, I will tell you how I stopped using textbooks and started training my brain with real life. Every moment became a lesson. Every action became a practice. I made my life the classroom, and English became my habit. Get ready. The real transformation begins there. Chapter 4. Training with Real Life, Not Textbooks. I used to think I needed a textbook to learn English. I thought I needed grammar lessons, vocabulary lists, and big rules. But the truth was different. One day I closed my book. I looked around. I saw my real life. I saw my room, my kitchen, my street, my neighbors. And I realized something. English was not just inside books. It was inside everything. I could use my daily life to learn, and that changed everything. I was tired of repeating the same rules. I was tired of writing answers that I would forget the next day. I wanted to speak. I wanted to understand. I wanted to feel the language, not just study it. So I made a new rule. No more waiting. No more books for now. I would use real life as my English teacher. The first thing I did was describe everything I did. Not with a pen, not with a book, but with my mind. When I woke up, I thought, I am opening my eyes. I stood up. I am getting out of bed. I walked to the bathroom. I am brushing my teeth. These were not perfect sentences, but they were mine. I was building a habit. I was training my brain. I was telling my mind, this is your new language now. At breakfast, I talk to myself. I eat an egg. This is hot tea. The spoon is small. It felt strange at first, but I kept going. I didn't care if I was wrong. I didn't wait for someone to check my grammar. I just practiced. My kitchen became my classroom. My food became my vocabulary. My thoughts became my teacher. When I went outside, I kept going. I walked to the shop and said, I am walking on the road. I looked around. I see a car. It is red. A boy is riding a bicycle. I used everything around me, every sound, every sight, every action. I made English from it. My world was full of lessons. I just had to see them. I watched people talk. I listened to the way they spoke. I imagined what they were saying. And then I repeated it in my head in English. If I saw two people laughing, I thought, they are happy. If I saw someone in a hurry, I thought, he is late. These small guesses trained my brain. I didn't need to be right. I just needed to think. In the evening, I watched simple English videos, not to study, but to copy. I listened to real conversations. I repeated them. I didn't stop to write anything down. I didn't try to understand every word. I focused on the rhythm, on the feeling. I watched how people moved their mouths. I shadowed them. I copied their speed. It felt like dancing with the language. Sometimes I watched cartoons. They were fun and easy to understand. I didn't feel pressure. I laughed. I learned. I heard simple sentences. I repeated them. Let's go. I'm hungry. I don't like this. These small phrases became part of me. I didn't study them. I lived them. Even doing chores became practice. When I washed dishes, I said, I am cleaning the plate. When I folded clothes, I said, this is my shirt. When I watered the plants, I said, plants need water. My house was full of practice. My hands were busy, but my brain was learning. When I met people, I tried to think in English before they spoke. I guessed their questions. He will ask my name. She will ask how I am. I prepared my answers in English, and sometimes when the time came, I was ready. I didn't freeze. I spoke, maybe just one sentence. But it came from my brain, not from a textbook. At night, I thought about my day. I told my story in English. Today, I woke up at 7. I drank tea. I cleaned the room. I went to the shop. These small daily stories helped me build fluency. I didn't write them. I just said them quietly. Sometimes I whispered. Sometimes I only thought. But every day I told my story, and every day my English grew stronger. I learned one important thing. Language is not something you study. It is something you use, in real life, in real time. You don't need a big plan. You need small actions. You need daily practice. You need your real life. That is enough. My brain stopped waiting for perfect sentences. It started using real sentences. Sentences about today. Sentences about now. Sentences I needed. And slowly, I started thinking in English, without trying. I saw something, and the English word came first. Not the word from my language, but the English one. And that made me smile. So if you want to train your brain, stop searching for the best book. Look around you. Your life is full of English. Use it. Describe it. Talk to it. Listen to it. Make your home, your street, your routine, your classroom. In the next chapter, I will share the method that changed my fluency fast. Shadowing. I used to just watch and listen. But now, I started copying. I started speaking with native speakers, even through a screen, and my brain, it started speaking back. Get ready for the biggest shift. Chapter 5. The shadowing trick that changed my brain. I remember the day I found the trick. I was tired. I had been practicing English for weeks. I was thinking in English. I was using it in my daily life. But still, I was slow. Still, I hesitated when I tried to speak. I knew the words. I had the thoughts. But when it was time to speak out loud, my mouth did not move fast. I felt stuck again. One night I was watching a video on my phone. A man was speaking English very clearly. His voice was calm. His sentences were short. I liked his style. I paused the video. I repeated his sentence. I am going to the market. I said it out loud. I matched his speed. Then I played the next line. I want to buy some fruits. I paused again. I repeated. At that moment, something clicked. I thought, what if I copy every sentence he says? Not just repeat, but copy the sound, the rhythm, the feeling. So I tried. I pressed play. He spoke. I spoke. He said one sentence. I followed. I was like his shadow. I moved when he moved. I spoke when he spoke. It felt strange at first, but it also felt powerful. This was the beginning of my shadowing journey. Every day I chose one short video. I made sure the speaker spoke clearly, not too fast, not too slow. I wore my earphones. I listened carefully. I repeated immediately after every sentence, not later, not after writing it down. I repeated at the same time or just a second after. I did not wait to understand every word. I copied the sound, the music of the sentence. Sometimes I paused and repeated the sentence 5 times. I tried to match the voice, the tone, the emotion. I did not care if I made mistakes. I did not care if I was slow. I just copied, over and over again. At first it was hard. My tongue felt lazy. My voice was shy. My mind said, "You look silly." But I kept going. I stood in front of the mirror. I watched myself speak. I matched my lips with the speaker. I smiled. I looked confident, even if I didn't feel it yet. After 1 week, I noticed a big change. When I watched new videos, I could guess the rhythm. I knew how the sentence would sound. My mouth started moving faster. My brain didn't need time to translate. It was like a new door opened in my head, a door where English came out naturally. Shadowing helped me in many ways. It trained my listening. I started catching words I missed before. It improved my speaking. My words became smoother. My pronunciation improved without any special class. It even helped my thinking. Because when I copied native speakers, I started to think like them. Their sentences became my sentences. I started doing this every day, just 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes before sleep. I picked videos from shows, short podcasts, interviews, even cartoons. I chose topics I liked. If I liked cooking, I shadowed a cooking video. If I liked stories, I shadowed a bedtime story. The secret was simple. Copy, copy, copy. I didn't need to understand everything. I didn't need to stop and write things down. Shadowing is not for writing. Shadowing is for feeling. Feeling the language. Speaking it. Living it. Some days, I felt tired. I didn't want to practice. But I remembered my goal. I remembered how I used to freeze. I didn't want that feeling again. I wanted to feel free when I spoke English. I wanted my brain to speak with my mouth. Shadowing helped me make that connection. One day I met someone online. They asked me, "How did you learn to speak so naturally?" I smiled. I said, "I listened. Then I copied. Every single day." It felt amazing to say that, because it was true. Shadowing is not magic. It is training. Like lifting small weights every day, your brain becomes strong, your tongue becomes fast, your fear becomes smaller, and your confidence becomes big. You don't need to wait for someone to speak with you. Just find a video. Put on your headphones. Listen. Copy. Again and again, you are the student and the teacher. You are the listener and the speaker. You are your own classroom. I still shadow today. It keeps me sharp. It keeps me learning. It keeps me close to the language. Even now, I learn new expressions just by copying someone's voice. So if you feel slow, if you feel stuck, if your mouth is not ready, try this. Try shadowing. Just 10 minutes a day. You will see the change. You will feel it. In the next chapter, I'll show you something beautiful. After shadowing, I started creating stories in my mind, little scenes in English. I used my imagination to build my fluency, and my brain started thinking in pictures and sentences, not rules. That's when everything became fun. Chapter 6. Building Mental English Scenes. Every day. After shadowing, something new started in my mind. I was not just copying words. I was not just repeating. I was creating. My brain started playing little English movies inside my head, not with actors, not with subtitles, just scenes, real scenes. My imagination was speaking English, and I didn't even plan it. It just happened. I remember the first time clearly. I was sitting in a park. It was quiet. I looked around. I saw a woman walking with a baby. I closed my eyes for a moment. In my head, I started describing the scene. The woman is wearing a blue dress. She is pushing a baby stroller. The baby is sleeping. I smiled. I was not translating. I was not thinking in my language. I was building a scene in English. It felt natural. So I decided to do more of this. Every day, I would close my eyes for 5 minutes. I would imagine a place, a beach, a shop, a school, a library. Then I described it in English, in my mind. The beach is wide, the sun is shining, people are swimming, a boy is building a sand castle. I made my own story. No one told me what to say. No one corrected me. But my brain was learning fast. I called this mental English. It was different from reading or writing. It was like dreaming with open eyes, but in English. I didn't need paper. I didn't need a book. I just needed a quiet moment in my imagination. This became my favorite part of the day. Sometimes I imagined a restaurant. I walk in. I sit at the table. A waiter comes. He says, "What would you like to eat?" I say, "I want rice and chicken, please." I played this scene in my head many times, and the next time I visited a real restaurant, I felt ready. I had already practiced, not with my mouth, but with my mind. Other times, I imagined travel. I go to the airport, I check in, I take my passport, I ask, "Where is gate number 7? These small mental scenes helped me speak faster when real life happened. I didn't freeze. because I had already seen the moment in my mind. Mental scenes are powerful. They help you build confidence. They help you think in full sentences. They help you feel comfortable in English, even when no one is around. They are free, they are private, and they are safe. You can make mistakes in your mind. You can try again. No pressure. Sometimes I also used objects around me. I picked up my pen and imagined a story. This pen belongs to a writer. He is writing a book about dreams. I looked at a cup. This cup is from my friend. She gave it to me as a gift. I turned everything into a story. My room became a world. My brain became a storyteller. At night, before sleeping, I closed my eyes and replayed my day. In English. I woke up late. I made breakfast. I watched a video. I went outside. These simple thoughts were strong. They helped me feel the language. They helped me connect with myself. And they helped me speak faster the next day. Sometimes I imagined conversations. I asked myself questions and answered them. What did you do today? I went to the market. What did you buy? I bought some bread and milk. These were not written. They were not practiced. They were natural. They came from my mind, from my life. I even made my own English dreams. I imagined being on stage, giving a speech in English. I imagined meeting a friend and telling them a story. These mental scenes gave me confidence. They gave me energy. They gave me belief. I didn't learn this in school. No teacher told me to do this. I discovered it by listening to my brain. My brain wanted pictures. My brain wanted stories. Not grammar tables. Not boring rules. Just real, living English. If you want to train your brain, do this. Start with 5 minutes a day. Sit quietly. Close your eyes. Make a simple scene. A shop, a park, a street. Describe it. Add people. Add actions. Add sounds. Tell the story in your head, in English. It will feel slow at first, but that's okay. Don't stop. Your brain will grow. Your thoughts will become faster. Your words will come naturally. You will start speaking in real life with ease, because you have already spoken in your imagination. In the next chapter, I will tell you the moment when everything changed for me. The day I finally thought and spoke in English without even noticing. No translation, no fear, just pure English. It was the moment I knew my brain was ready. Chapter 7. When my brain finally thought in English. It was a normal day, nothing special. I woke up, brushed my teeth, and went to the bus stop. The weather was warm. The sun was soft. I was feeling calm. I saw an old man sitting on the bench. A little girl stood near him, eating ice cream. I smiled. And then something happened. I heard a voice in my head. It said, "She is enjoying her ice cream." I paused. I looked around. No one was talking to me. It was my own voice, my own thought. But it was in English, not my native language, not translated. It just came, smooth, fast, natural. I didn't realize it at first. It felt normal, but then I stopped walking. I stood there, shocked. That sentence came from my brain, in English, without effort, without fear, without translation. My brain had changed. It was no longer thinking like before. It was now thinking in English. Tears filled my eyes, not because I was sad, but because I was proud. I remembered the days I froze. I remembered the times I couldn't say a single word. I remembered the fear, the shame, the silence. And now, here I was, thinking in English, like it was always mine. I sat on the bench. I looked at people walking by. I started thinking again. He is walking fast. She looks tired. They are laughing together. The thoughts came freely. My brain wasn't asking for permission. It wasn't looking for rules. It was just flowing. That moment changed me. I realized something very important. Fluency is not just about speaking fast. It's not about using difficult words. It's not about perfect grammar. Fluency is when your brain stops translating. Fluency is when your thoughts match your language, when your inside voice speaks the same language you want to speak outside. And how did I reach this point? Not in one day, not in 1 week. I did it slowly, with small steps. I repeated words. I described my day. I talked to myself. I shadowed videos. I imagined scenes. I thought simple thoughts in English every single day. I failed many times. I felt stuck many times. But I didn't give up. I kept going, even when I felt slow, even when I didn't see progress, because I knew deep down something was changing. And I was right. Now, English is part of me. It lives inside my brain. I don't need to push it. It comes naturally. I talk, I think, I dream in English. And every day it grows stronger. I want you to know something. This can happen to you too. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to know everything. You just need to train your brain, little by little. Use your real life. Talk to yourself. Repeat out loud. Copy native speakers. Imagine small scenes. And never stop. Your brain is powerful. It can learn anything. Even a whole new language. Even English. But you have to give it time. You have to give it practice. You have to give it love. If I can do it, so can you. If you're still translating in your head, start today. Speak one word in English. Think one small thought. Don't wait for the perfect time. Train your brain now. Subscribe to this channel for more real stories and simple techniques to speak English. Like this video if you felt connected to my journey. And comment below. Is your brain still thinking in your native language? Or are your English thoughts starting to grow? Your journey begins with one thought. Let it be in English.